Controlling where your golf club hits the ground is the most important skill in golf, and if you're not good at it, golf is just flat out not going to be fun for you. There are 4 things that control where we strike the ground. Number 1 is our mass location. What do I mean by that? I mean that if I move my mass way off the golf ball or way toward the trail side, I have to move it quite a long ways back to get my low point programmed more in front of the ball. If I'm a golfer who makes this big lateral move off the ball and I don't move back, I'm going to have 0 chance to hit ball then ground, right? So very simply put, when you're making a backswing, ensure that your trail hip is not rocking too far outside your trail foot. In an ideal world, right, we would try to keep those hips pretty centered and avoid swaying or sliding that trail hip outside of your trail ankle. Additionally, our face or our nose, we don't want it moving too far off the golf ball. Obviously, the more I slide back, the more I have to slide forward to get that low point forward, okay? Now, number 2 is shaft lean. Shaft lean is, am I able to get my hands in front of the ball, or do I scoop and add a bunch of loft? Well, if I'm a golfer who adds a bunch of loft and I leave my hands back behind the ball, I'm getting the golf club longer too soon. And this is where my low point will be. It will be too far behind the ball. Instead, what we want to do is we want to get those hands forward so that we have some shaft lean. Now, a quick note on shaft lean. If your club face is wide open, meaning pointing up to the sky in the downswing, it is going to be outrageously hard for you to get your hands forward. Why? Well, if I have this club face super open and I stay in posture and I deliver all this shaft lean, well, you can see that that golf club points a mile to the right. So what you've learned to do, and if you have an open face and you have no shaft lean, this is you. You've learned that if you can kind of flick your wrists and leave your hands behind the ball, you can get that club face to point straight. Obviously, though, we've compromised our ability to control where we hit the ground. We're going to hit a lot of high, weak shots this way. So club face is open. We add a bunch of loft. You can see that club face is pointed straight, but we've severely compromised the low point, okay? So a very simple drill, if that's you, showed this the other day, but split your hands on the grip. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way back. We're going to work on twisting this club face with the right hand, or the trail hand for a right-handed golfer would be right hand. We're working on twisting this thing down. And now from here, with the club face more in a closed position or a square position, if I rotate and deliver shaft lean, you can see that club will look straighter and it won't be so open, okay? The third and overlooked piece of low point control is rotation. I like to imagine that my sternum or my chest here, it has a flashlight in it. And wherever my flashlight points at impact is going to have a large role, or play a large role in where my club hits the ground. So if I'm a golfer who has kind of a lot of lower body slide and my upper body stays back and I struggle to rotate my chest, well, my low point is going to be positioned a little bit more back versus a golfer who is really good at keeping, kind of the rotational aspects of their swing in place. They're able to get their chest open and their shoulders a few degrees open at impact. Not only will that help deliver shaft lean, but again, that flashlight is pointed more in front of the golf ball. That's going to get your low point moved more forward, right? A drill I like to do for this is to take an alignment stick, and you're going to put the alignment stick through a few of your belt loops. And now the goal is obviously going to be to show you how much your hips are rotating. So what I like to do is leave the long end of the stick on the lead side. So for me as a right-handed golfer, that's the left side. And what I'm going to try to do is just make some practice swings. And what I'll try to feel is that this alignment stick is going to be pointed completely behind me at this back wall by the time my club head gets down to the ball, okay? So I'll go up to the top, and now I'm going to try and feel that stick point all the way at the wall before my club hits the ball. That's going to be that feeling of rotating. You're going to notice that really gets your body twisting. That's going to move that low point forward, okay? Now, the most overlooked portion or piece of or element of low point control is your intent. Your intent or your intention on what you're doing plays such a large role, and it's overlooked. If I had a line here and I made you put the line way up in front of your lead foot, almost where a driver would be positioned, and I gave you a 3-iron and I said, hey, if you hit back here, you owe me $1 million. But if you hit up here, I'll give you $1 million. I promise all of you would make a little swing, you'd slide forward, you'd rotate, you'd get some shaft lean, and you'd tap the grass up here. Maybe a baby swing. But your intent was the only thing on your mind. You were just trying to land the club where you were trying to land it. You weren't worried about your rotation and your shaft lean. It may have happened, or your brain or your body self-organized all those components to get your club to land where you wanted to. And that's really the power of intent. So a really good drill, draw a line, take a stick, something, and place it where you would normally have an iron ball position, and simply make swings paying attention to where your club contacts the ground. Okay, so again, small divots are your goal with a 7-iron, 6-iron, whatever, but we're just going to try and make some swings and pay attention to where our divots start with that line. The intention is to get the divot to start just slightly after the line. Okay, so it would look like this. Obviously, I'm not going to hit a ball, but swings, and we're just trying to get the club to land barely in front of the line. That's going to ensure that awesome ball turf contact. So pay attention to those 4 elements. They could help you out a lot. Thanks for watching.